I can speak about myself. What was different for me was different than, say, our parents' generation. In those days, if you wanted to build an excellent career, you went to school, you got in on the ground floor in a corporation, and you grew with the company as your skills progressed and you went up the ladder. And hopefully by the time you were retiring, you were an executive, you had a nice pension, and you moved to someplace warm, and this was it. And that was considered an excellent career. For me, like all of us today, we came into a time where corporations were not rewarding people staying in the same company for these long, this full career span anymore. Technology started growing at a geometric pace, if you will, which started to provide more and more opportunities and much more change inside of the organizations. We had many companies that started out as one thing, but because of technology grew into being something different. You can think about that with all the computing companies, all the digital companies that maybe started as analog companies and then became, I think of like Hewlett Packard starting with, typewriters and things like this. What builds an excellent career now more than ever, but also in my career, was being able to identify those changes in your industry and being willing to take a risk to pivot with them as opposed to resist them, and staying in the mindset of, oh, this is the comfortable place, how we always did it. This is the comfortable place about the way that things get done, versus moving with the change and being willing to adapt to that change. And we see it now more than ever with careers that are being changed, whether we like it or not. And I know half the world is against and half the world is for AI, but it's definitely changing how we're looking at everything. And the people who are willing to adapt and change along with these changes, because it's not going away. I wish maybe it was for some folks, but it's not. And being able to incorporate that, being able to take that risk is what's going to make a great career 2026 and beyond.
Right, right. Yeah, the company man, the career path you described,
Right.
was something that in the 50s, 60s, maybe 90s
Yeah. Good boys.
was a big thing, right? But now the pace changed and that dynamic, the reward, benefits balance doesn't add up anymore, right? So people change jobs more often, right? And companies need to adapt, which means that they need to hire and fire faster than before.
And now it's onto the person, the individual, not being risk adverse. Maybe like those generations were in the past, they stayed in those careers, became that company person, that company man or woman. Now it's managing your own career, being, in a sense, being your own company and looking for those opportunities, having the willingness to explore them, perhaps even leaving companies and, exploring those new things. That doesn't mean you don't have to build your skills. It doesn't mean you don't have to work hard. It doesn't mean any of those things. But what it means is what I'm saying is a rigid mindset or a fixed mindset is not going to grow a great career. It has to be a very open and very fluid mindset.